was. I think I told you that.
Yeah.
And it was I had a prejudice against me early on because I was a gringo. Nothing went against Laura. It was me because I'm a gringo, blah, 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 blah. I had a run-in with Albert Torres, so on and so forth. But I continued doing my thing around the world with the World Salsa Federation in Germany and France, so on and so forth. But I've always tried to open new avenues. And the Junior Olympics, which is part of the United States Olympic Committee here in the United States, were the ones that recognized the World Salsa Federation. And that's how we got it into the Junior Olympics.
Wonderful. That's a huge thing, man, for
Yes.
sure.
Yeah, it
And
is.
that's all still running in the whole deal?
It is. And I really wanted to bring people like you and the rest of the salseros into that because young kids from the age from 6 to 22 could enter and win a gold medal in the Junior Olympic Games, just like basketball, baseball. We were another sport in there. So it
Right.
was very exciting, but the salsa world was not ready for that. The one I know, the one you know, they were not ready for that. In fact, Albert Torres told me he hates having competitions. And the only reason he's doing it is because I'm doing it. So he has to do it, to keep up. But if he had his choice, he told me that he would never have competitions. So
Why did he say that?
I'm not sure at the time. This was a long time ago. In fact, I probably have it on audio somewhere, but I'm not sure. But he
Yeah, he
didn't.
said he just liked to do the congresses, but he didn't like
Yeah,
competition. He did it
yeah.
just because, was another
I don't
way
know
for
if it
him.
was controversial or whatever it was. He didn't like competition, but he did like having the congresses. That was his thing. But forced to do it because we were doing it, and we actually went into L.A. for preliminaries and all through Southern California. And he had a heart attack when we arrived
Right.
because he said, "What are you doing in my territory?" I said, as far, yeah. It says, as far as I know, it's a free country. And we actually brought Tito Puente Jr. with us. Remember, we took him along with us. So, and we canvassed all of California, mainly Southern California, but mostly all of California. As a preliminary, we held preliminaries towards our world champion or U.S. and world championship. But he had a fit. I mean, he went ballistic on us.
Wow.
And so we get a lot of resistance, okay, for no good reason. We're not trying to take over anybody's business. We're trying to open up more business
Right.
for everybody, right?
Absolutely.
But, they don't see it.
Sounds so familiar. For
Yeah, they don't
sure.
see it that way. Yeah. I don't know if it's being threatened or what the case may be, that for whatever reason, um, they are very close, except for the Colombians. Okay, the Colombians really support us. We were the first to bring them to the United States before any organizer, Albert Torres or anybody. We brought them to the United States. We made some great dancers out of them. They went back to their country. The government was so happy. They built them their own studio. But a lot of people, even in Colombia, believe it or not, don't know that Laura and I were the first ever to win the world championship for Colombia.
Oh wow.
Colombia, the one time that Laura asked me to represent Colombia, we won the fucking world title.
Nice.
Every time we would win, and we would represent United States, because only one of us has to be from that country.
Right. Right.
And Laura has dual citizenship. Okay.
Yes. Beautiful.
So she said, "Hey, just this one time, because a couple that we had couldn't get their visa." She said, "Well, this one time, why don't we just enter for fun?" I said, "I'm not doing that." But long story short, I went into my Rocky syndrome and blah blah blah.
Da, da,
No, I'm
da.
not.
Da,
Yeah,
da,
exactly.
da.
And we ended up winning the world title for Colombia.
Very nice.
So
Nice.
a lot of people didn't even know that.
When was that?
Now,
In 2000.
that was 2000. That was
When
the
we
title.
won, we competed representing Colombia.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, when we won the world title, we were representing Colombia
At the
Billy
IDO.
at
Yeah.
the IDO.
Oh.
Billy was representing U.S. In Puerto Rico or something, and then Salomon Rivera and Edie the Salsa Freak. Remember them?
Yeah.
They were there. I mean, everybody from that era that was a dancer that later on did their own thing and got famous for doing it. We beat them at the competition.
Right.
And then when I real quick, when I went ahead and put it online, you know, that, oh, they have salsa congresses. That's a good thing. Maybe they'll hire us to do some workshops because we were champions.
Right.
Nobody would hire us. Nobody.
Yeah.
Nobody. I was in shock.
Wild.
So here I am at the pinnacle of my career.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
I love it. I love it.
I'll talk more when we have the interview.
Yeah, when we bring on the
Yeah.
when we do the interview, which we'll start now. Give me a second.
So this is it's been a real challenge. I don't know if you've come across the same problems.
Oh, I mean, nowhere near as much as you guys, I'm sure, but yeah, I guess just ultimately the creation of the new business. You know, I don't think the field, the scene, the industry per se is as aware of the value of that, what that brings. You know, essentially, it's like if everybody was to do the same thing, we would need to open up more schools to be able to just cater to the demand. You know,
Correct.
And it just seems like, you know, that people are, you know, seem to be and not necessarily taking advantage. I don't want to sound like it to be a bad thing, but it's almost just like cashing in on the work or the groundwork that's been laid, you know, that because of the efforts of the, what's the word I'm looking for? I get industry leaders, you know, for lack of better words, you know. I'm definitely that resonated with me. What you said about kind of like I don't like to linger so much on the accomplishments because I'm just too busy trying to do the next thing and take advantage of, you know, where we're at now to then move forward, right?
Right.
But yeah, no, absolutely. Which I agree. It could be a mistake, you know.
Yeah, they may take it like, oh, the gringo is bragging now. And they'll find something to talk about. And, you know, the most valuable thing I have in my life right now is, besides my wife,
of course,
is time. Time is important to me. And what I want to accomplish, what I want to leave, that type of thing is very important to me. And I'm still trying to wedge my way into the salsa groupings, like Sharon, and what's the other guy, the DJ?
Mike Calderon.
Sharon, Calderon, this one, that one, you know, trying to make friends with them a little bit, maybe, you know, we're trying to now find a couple or two that we're willing to train for free, okay? And a real high level of salsa, and then take them to these events that they have, Sharon and all them. They always invite us, but and have them dance representing the WSF, right? So that way, just for the namesake,
right?
Okay? Even if they worked at another studio, they can be in that studio. We don't care, okay?
Right.
But we're willing to give our time, just to show you. We're willing to give our time, train a couple or two, and then put them in that arena, because we've seen what they have in the arena, and we know if we can train a couple or two, they will steal the show from anybody out there at this moment, okay? And we've seen the best. We were at Sharon's birthday party bash, okay, and they had this couple that came from New York, and they're the new candy on the block or whatever, right?
Mm.
And believe me, I'm not bragging. You give me a couple, they just need the training. The salsa people will be talking about these couples for a long time, and they can represent their studio as well. But we want to do it and say the World Salsa Federation. So that's sort of a way to get our name out and what we're capable of doing. Okay, and so when we have an event, people want to come. Oh yeah, we saw them, and we know Isaac and Laura. So we got to spend time. I haven't spent a lot of time. Laura tells me that's my mistake of going to these parties and stuff and like that. So people, schmoozing around.
Right.
But the real key for me, you can schmooze all day long. They'll say hi to you, and that's it.
Right.
Okay. They're don't complain.
Yeah, stop saying a positive thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now let's go on to something else.
Okay. All right. Perfect. Well, that's a good place to start. Well,
you know any good couples who want to be trained? I'll train them. We'll train them for free.
Definitely have a few in mind. But that's a huge deal. That's a big deal, and it's the fact that you guys are willing to do that, regardless of the purpose.
They come back to your school.
Of course.
We're not trying to steal anybody from your school. We're just trying to infiltrate this dome that everybody has. Everybody has their thing going on,
Right.
And we just want to show our work, okay? Then they see the WSF is legit.
Right.
Okay, these people are okay. And from there, and these are local people, not people we bring in from Colombia.
Right.
Right. And then the I guess the good thing is wherever they came from, they're still there, still be able to do things with their school, represent their school at events, right, that they go to. You guys do shows, and they can do all that. We're not there to dominate that at all. We just want to use them to show our work at these parties that they have,
Sure.
But once that's out, that gives us a little bit more legitimacy to these people.
Of course.
Okay. Right now, I'm still, it still amazes me that when you tell people we were world champions, oh, great, let's see you dance. I said, that was 23 years ago.
Right.
Okay.
All right.
I have lumbago.
All right, perfect, guys. Let's go ahead and get started. We got an interesting topic here, which I definitely want to lean into. So let me go ahead and introduce you guys formally. All right, sweet. Here we go. What's going on, familia? Welcome back. Salsa Kings Live, episode 128, with some dear friends of mine, of Salsa Kings, Isaac and Laura Altman. We're going to be talking about dance relationships today of all different kinds, whether you're dance partners, whether partners in life, business partners, you name it. There's definitely going to be some golden nuggets, so stick around. Some words from our sponsors. Miami Salsa Cruise is coming up right around the corner, guys. Cabins are running out. Visit MiamiSalsaCruise.com to go ahead and receive a event ticket discount right on the website there, $50 off. It's January 21st to the 28th. We're going to Cozumel, we're going to Mahogany Bay, Honduras, and we're going to Costa Maya. It's definitely going to be a blast. Last year was memories that were absolutely unforgettable. We hope that you can join us there. Also, mydanceshirts.com for dancers, by dancers, gear and swag to represent on the dance floor, your favorite style, your favorite country, etc., made by you. So we're constantly accepting new different designs, ideas, etc. The holiday collection just came out, including Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, Hanukkah, and New Year's. So go ahead and get your gear on there, mydanceshirts.com. Introducing our guests for today. Mr. Isaac Altman has been dancing since 1972, has been dancing his entire life, career-wise, 51 years. Back then, salsa wasn't even around yet. It was just mambo. He moved to Miami, where he started salsa before any schools were here whatsoever. He met his wonderful wife, Laura, in 1993. where she was dancing in Colombia since 5 and became a professional, teaching her first classes at the age of 13. Moved to Miami and learned partner work with Isaac himself. Together, starting there, amongst a plethora of different accomplishments, but here are just a few. They were lead choreographers in the Super Bowl in 1999, along with Gloria Estefan and other major artists. Became world champions in 2000 at the International Dance Organization, also known as IDO, representing Colombia, which is absolutely wonderful, beating a lot of the major names here in the United States and across the world. At the time, the IDO was the only organization that was giving away world titles. So a year later, in 2001, they founded the World Salsa Federation, has since trained 5 world champions, which is a huge deal, from scratch. And they also put salsa, the dance style, as a category in the Junior Olympics, working with the Amateur Athletic Union. They continue working together with videos, shows, and have performed with every major salsa artist you can name it, including the original Tito Puente, Celia Cruz, and many, many others. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and bring them on. Guys, please go ahead and write me personally, Andres at salsakings.com. If you have any questions for them, I can forward them over to them, or of course, go ahead, leave comments here. But without further ado, what's going on, familia? How we doing?
Okay, familia.
Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Thank you guys for coming on. I appreciate you.
Yeah.
Get you ready for the weekend.
Yes. Absolutely. There's a lot of, go figure, which is kind of like what we were expanding on when we were talking about in the pre-show. There's a lot of new parties now opening up lately. So here in Miami, it's just, which is great, which is wonderful. I can't help myself to notice, but that is a very large 28 karat gold trophy you got back there.
Right behind here. Let me bring it out. It's very heavy, but I've been working out, so I can lift it with one hand.
Of course. There you go. You got to make that. It's beautiful.
This is the Unified World Salsa Champion Trophy that we give out. When you win the world title, you have to go against somebody else that has a world title to win the Unified World Championship.
Nice. Love it. I love it. Yeah, you definitely been working out a lot there, bro. I can tell. Look at that. Look at that. With no effort whatsoever, just flawless.
Again, you got to work out.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. I love it. Sounds good. Again, thank you guys so much for coming on. I know I named just a few. I mean, we were talking quite extensively during the pre-show about what you guys have done for the industry as a whole. Even when what you've been talking about, sometimes our own country isn't even as supportive as we'd like it to be, so that you've even gone and internationally and changed kids' lives, even in another country, which is absolutely wonderful. I'll give you guys the floor. Tell us a little bit about yourselves so that our audience can kind of get to know you guys a little bit better on an intimate level.
Well, you had mentioned 3 things that I already forgot what you mentioned, but there were 3 things: the past, the present, and the future, right?
Right now we're talking about just you guys and your past.
Okay, our past. Go ahead, Laura.
Well, we've been married. It's going to be 25 years.
Woo!
And yes, so hopefully he's planning something special for the 25th anniversary. We're being dance partners, and we were working. We have our business together, not just the World Salsa Federation, but also our dance studio.
Hold on, that's what now you made me recall. We are 3 things that he had mentioned earlier. We are dance partners, we are business partners, and we also are husband and wife.
So
beautiful.
It's we have a lot of relations to talk about that we can give advice, I guess. Because after all this year, we're still together, and we still enjoy working together, and we enjoy dancing together, and we do a lot of things together. And see what else. We still love dancing. We still love training people, and we like to teach beginners the same. Doesn't matter if some people say, oh, I like when I just work with advanced. No, we also like the beginners. We like to see how they progress and how they become good dancers. What else?
Well, I think a lot of people don't understand, how can two people be together 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and still run a business? Like, for example, if I tell Laura that something she had to do at the studio, because essentially I'm the boss. She's the woman in charge, but I'm still the boss.
Right.
If I tell her something or something didn't go right, and we get into a discussion, we don't bring it home. As soon as we leave the studio, our personality, especially mine, changes. I'm no longer her boss. Okay, I'm Isaac. Go take. If she says take out the trash, I take out the trash. It's a different person. And I think that's an advice I would give anybody. Working together as husband and wife is not a big success rate in business, okay? Not many people can do it. And one way to do it was that when Laura came working for me, we laid down the rules that we're going to live by, okay? For example, we're not going to take personal feelings home with us. That we have to understand that at the studio, it's all business, and that no matter what we say to each other, it's strictly business. It's not personal, and we don't bring that home. Nor in reverse, when we're at home and we get into a squabble over what we're going to watch on TV, we don't fight too much, okay? But it'd be something minor, whatever, that bothered either one of us. When we go to the studio, we change again. Those were the rules that were laid down from the very beginning. Otherwise, we could have never survived this long working together and being together. Something would have given, okay? Now, the other thing is compatibility, okay? We didn't realize how compatible we are. We're opposite. We're not both A personality.
We're very different. We come from very different backgrounds, but we have a lot of things in common.
Right. So she had a totally different outlook on things. I was very aggressive on everything. She took things and absorbed it, gave me her point of view, which was interesting, and I liked it most of the time, how she saw things. And even we go out to eat, we'll order separate, right? We have menus. She doesn't ask me what you're going to have. I said, okay, I'm having this. She says, oh, well, I'm having that too.
We always usually order the same thing.
So we're compatible when it comes to food, things of that nature. So I would say on all the levels that we talked about, and we'll go into individual, but if you're going into business with somebody that you have a close personal relationship with, a girlfriend for a long time, a wife, my advice is to really lay down the rules beforehand, okay? And if the rules get broken, then there has to be some sort of consequence the person has to pay. And they should know that. And that's sort of like a business deal, right? You go in, these are the rules. You don't like the rules, then we can't do that. You stay home, I go to work, or you find a job somewhere else. And like normal people, everyday people, they work at different places and they get together afterwards.
Yeah, it's not easy. It's not, I don't think
it's not for everybody.
It's not for everybody, especially if you, in the business that we're not very social business, personal business. We also have to be happy because we're in happy business. So if we had a fight at home, I can just go. I can't go to the studio and look at my student. Hi, no, I have to be happy. So I can't take the problems that I have at home with Isaac. I can't take them. They're not too many, but just in case. And I can't take them to the studio. So that's something.
And also, I had to make sure because, I've been in the business since 1972, professionally teaching. It's been my only job my whole life. Dancing has supported me my whole life. I had to make sure that she doesn't get jealous when these young ladies or older ladies, well, they were young at one time, would maybe hit on me, or say, oh, da 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 da, that she wouldn't get jealous.
Well, I have to make sure that he doesn't get jealous.
Yeah, absolutely. What goes around comes around. There's no doubt about it.
The door swings both ways. So no, we're both very secure about a relationship. We understand each other fully in every which way you can turn. And so, but that would be advice to somebody else. You have how many couples out there do you know started out with great enthusiasm and then they broke up? Their dance relationship broke up. And usually, if you're with somebody that you're competing with, you're spending a lot of time with that person. Okay,
big time.
Let's say Laura was married to somebody, and I was married to somebody, or both. Then we say, look, Laura and I we're traveling to Las Vegas because we have to compete, but we can't take our spouses. Now, that's a difficult decision. Right. Spouse is normally going to say, wait, you're going to Vegas with da 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 da? No, I don't think so. Right. So it'd be very difficult, you see. And so in a relationship, when it comes to, for example, salsa, you probably know people that have been together for a while, and all of a sudden, boom, you're shocked. They broke up. Okay. So that's the norm. We're not in the norm that way. So our advice, when you start this relationship, put out the rules right away. And if the other partner doesn't want to live by those rules, hey, that's great. Then you need to find another way. Business-wise, is the same thing.
Right. So really quick.
Go ahead.
Do you guys hear an occasional ringing? Is that
no,
on our end?
No.
Okay, I'm not sure if the listeners hear that. Okay, if you guys hear the ringing, let me know. But okay, I'm just hearing an occasional ring there. Okay, no. So then question for you guys. I think this is already huge nuggets. The first thing being kind of like laying preliminary ground rules, right? Which we talk about in our classes all the time, right? Like in any relationship, there needs to be a mutually agreed upon set of rules, a mutually agreed upon set of parameters, right? That we're just saying, okay, this is where my line ends, this is where your line ends, and we're going to meet in the middle. As long as we stay here in the middle, then we're okay. And obviously, pushing beyond that can be taken as disrespect or whatever for the sake of the relationship. Mm-hmm. Which is beautiful. Now, you had said like a consequence, if you would, if that's somehow broken and or changed. Could you give an example of something like that? What would be, or is the consequence like you mentioned before, like, okay, well, we can't work together anymore? Would that be the, I guess, the ultimate consequence, or is there something maybe a little bit that can be done before?
Usually, if it's a serious, when you're dealing with emotions, okay, and you can't separate your personal emotions from business decisions, then it becomes a huge problem.
Right.
Okay. And to be able to look at a problem that you have with your partner in dancing, for example, we've seen couples break up dance-wise because he's telling you should do it this way, da da da, and then she says, well, I want to do this, and no, we're doing this, and then pretty soon, boom. Or I want to practice 5 days a week, and you say, no, I don't want to practice. Just three. Things like that start to enter in on the relationship. So you'll have to have a common goal. If you have a common goal and you really, that goal is real, it's not BS,
Right.
and not just saying it
And
to appease someone.
and one thing is sometimes you need to listen to your partner, because sometimes for you it could be something that's not important, but for the other person it's important. So you have to see the other side. I like, what do you do? He asked me, what do you do that? And I said, well, just don't worry about it. It's just nothing. But maybe for him it's something. So you have to listen to the other. It's just a dance relation, a business relation, or a like a love relation. It doesn't matter. It's the same. You need to talk and listen.
Communication.
Communication,
Right.
very important, and listen to the other person.
Right. I feel like that's also radically undermined as well. It's like I don't. I guess for me, when I was younger, I was blessed with a great friend that, you know, we would talk all the time, and we kind of made it a point to, like, we always asked ourselves, like, we would ramble on 15, 30, 45 minutes. This is okay. So what's the conclusion? Like, what did we just gain from this? Like, how are we now in the next conversation? How are we building up with this? And I thought, and I think that maybe that's a lot more, I guess maybe important, that perhaps a lot of people are oftentimes we can just talk just to talk, you know, versus, okay, you know, we've communicated something, we're talking about something to where now we have this, it's now added to the rules, or it's now added to my, you know, who I am as far as for what I like, what I don't like, etc. And we can get to know each other better, or maybe even we're even learning about ourselves more, right? By having these open conversations about that, and then discussing that conclusion, or speaking and communicating to get to a place of a conclusion. You know, oftentimes I'm listening to people speak, and I'm like, okay, you know, what's the end point here? Like, what are we concluding to then be able to move forward together towards this goal that we've set beforehand? And sometimes that's not easy, right?
Yeah, I don't think dance couples think in general that way. You know, you get infatuated. I like this girl, she's pretty, that she likes dancing. Usually one person or the other is going to be more educated in dance at the time. They're not equal with their knowledge, right? So, of course, I had more knowledge than Laura. So when I was training Laura, often she would say to me, we're doing something the Latin dance. Should I have my arm here or here? I said, well, you know, how do you feel? I gave her carte blanche to express herself first, instead of me dictating every toe or every finger. How do you feel?
That's a big deal.
Express it. If it looks funky, I'll tell you, you know?
Right.
But in the meantime, you need to have freedom. You have to have freedom to express yourself, because in a partnership, it's very important that you always have that freedom. And that's one of the things that we've had. We never hold anything in. If something is bothering us, we're going to spill it out. I'll nag her if she's holding it in till she tells me. Okay. And she does the same thing. So we've learned we don't hold anything in, because it becomes big after a while.
Right.
When it was small, right?
And other thing is, understand that all relationships change. Except, for example, we've been together for so long, it's not the same as it was when we started, and
No.
people have to realize that. For example, now our dancing communication, let's say, it's more equal, I guess, because when he was training me in couple dancing, of course, I didn't know anything. I was a dancer, but I was in a different style of dance. So I was learning everything from him, but he also was learning some things from me and the type of dance that I did. Now, for example, I taught kids all my life. I didn't teach adults until I started working with Isaac. So for him, it was the opposite. He taught adults all his life. Then he started working with kids when I started working with him. So we learned from each other. And he didn't say, "Oh no, I'm sorry, you're not gonna teach me how to do the kids because I know more than you," or nothing like that. No, he tried to learn from me and how I'm used to treat the kids. What could I teach them? How do they learn? Depends on the age. Each age is different. So whoever I don't want to say whoever is on top of the relationship. It's not, that's not like that. But like if, for example, he's the boss at the studio, but I'm like the manager. So I also have suggestions, we should do this, and he listens to me, and at home it's a little different. So you need to learn that everything evolves, everything changed, and it's not going to be the same as it was, 20 years ago.
Yeah, and you know what, Andreas, this is an important fact. It may come out a little funny because it sounds like maybe I'm just joking, but early on in my career, well, not early on because it spans 51 years now, but as Laura progressed as my partner in business and in life and all that, I knew if I lived to a certain age, I have so much information, and I kept learning. I never stopped wanting to learn. I still learn new things from somebody. But I knew I have so much information because I was doing ballroom, I was doing salsa, Latin dancing, all these things, that I'm never going to remember everything. I'm never going to remember all those steps from 40 years ago or whatever. So my plan was to instill it into Laura, okay?
Your memory bank.
She can reteach me what I forgot.
Beautiful. I love it.
And that's the relation. I know it sounds funny, but that was in my head. Pass on this information to somebody. And then when you forget, somebody that, you can trust, they're going to give it back to you. They're going to teach it to you, okay? And that was why we did our thing with the Colombian kids.
Thank God I have good memory, so I remember, so I can teach you back to.
Right, right. Now she's looking for another guy who's younger that she could help teach him all these things, so he'll teach her. Yeah. But that was the plan. That was my plan in my head. Okay, pass on the information to a teacher, which was Laura, that she can remind me, hey, remember we did this, you did this step here, da, 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 da. And because we can't remember everything, it's impossible. So relationships are very important, that you set out the rules, I guess, to surmise, that you don't, you have respect for each other, okay? And that when a discussion, I call it discussion, not an argument. Argument usually sounds negative.
Right.
Okay. When you argue. So if you have a discussion, even if it's a little bit heated, you need to hear the other person. And then you guys make a decision. The decision would be, okay, we're going to do it my way, or the decision, we're going to do it your way, or can there be a compromise? And many times I have this choreography I have, and then Laura says, why don't we do it like this? And I think about it, you know what? That sounds good. So my mind is open to everybody. I want to learn from everybody.
Absolutely.
From the person that's a bronze dancer to the gold dancer to this. For me, learning is a breath of fresh air. Okay. And that's what I want. And I think many people in the salsa world are not going to be able, unfortunately, to be able to experience what we have experienced as a couple. Okay. In the same industry, we don't work, day jobs. This is our job all the time. And so I would say, if you want to be successful and have a long career, okay, you need to follow those rules.
I love it. I'm here actually taking notes on everything here, which is wonderful. So first thing, you had mentioned something a little bit ago, that you guys talk to the point where even if the other person is not wanting to share initially, that you continue to nag each other until you get it out. So I guess the question is I don't know if the question is that necessary, but is it the obligation of the partner to do that? Because at the end of the day, I think we all want to express how we're feeling. We all want to share. It's just, sometimes we feel like we're, we're treading on thin ice or whatever, or we're kind of scared or whatever the case is. Like, is that something that you guys would recommend that is okay to do with your partner?
It's gender specific. Men tend
Okay.
to hold things in longer. Women, no. Okay.
Right.
And so this would be directed to the men. If you really want to have a long-term relationship with a lady, okay, and to build it into something, you got to be more like the woman. You got to let it out, let it go, so she can understand how you feel. Otherwise, if you block it out, you sort of listen to her, but you don't give her your real opinion, and you just say, okay, just to shut her up, that relationship is not going to be long lasting.
Right.
Am I blocking your face?
So, Laura, what would you say for the ladies then?
Well, I'm going to tell you something. And that we're a little bit sort of the opposite. I may have change a little bit more with my age, I guess. But he's been always more open. I've been always more close. So I tend to hold things, and all of a sudden, whack! I was like, he's like, what? That doesn't make any sense. Why,
Everything comes out at one time.
So I would say, yeah, I think it's better to say it right away. Whatever you feel, it doesn't matter, because then later, if you hold it and later it comes out much bigger. You have like 5 things holding, and it comes out like multiplied by 10 or something. So it's better just to say it,
Right.
whatever it is, just right away.
New relationships and dancing, for me, is like a honeymoon. They're on honeymoon, but when that honeymoon ends, this is where the testing of your relationship starts.
Right. Right. No, absolutely. And it's something else that you guys had mentioned too, is when you guys are in your discussions, if you would, or you're having a sharing of ideas, right? There's, something that you guys said was you're asking each other, okay, like, are we doing this your way? Are we doing this my way? Or are we compromising? And if we are, then what are we finding? And I think that takes obviously a level of maturity, but a level of ultimately mutual respect, where there's this, you're not going into this like, okay, I'm, better than you, or I know more about this than you, therefore you don't have rights to speak. I mean, we don't obviously consciously say these things.
Andreas, if you don't have mutual respect, get yourself another partner.
Oh, 100%. Absolutely. But that's exactly my point, is that I think oftentimes, especially in dance relationships, oh, she's cute, or, oh, he dances really good, or maybe he's really cute, or she dances, I don't know, whatever the scenario is. But oftentimes it's, maybe the intentions from the get-go are not, the intentions from the get-go are not, I guess you could say, pure. The foundation for the relationship itself to at least be long lasting, it's almost like doomed to begin with, like you said. Like if you don't mutually respect that person, then it's doomed for failure from the get go. So I think that point in itself, I just wanted to kind of actively bring awareness to it.
I've seen couples practicing when, oh my God, like she can't do anything right. It's like, he was like, oh, you push me. Oh, you pull me. Oh, you were slow. Oh, you this. It was like, oh my God.
Right.
if she's that bad, then just find somebody else. If she can be at your high standard or something. If you think she's slow and you know more, then teach her how to be fast. Or you think she pushes you, I don't know. It's just the relation. It's not good if it's like that.
And don't forget, we're talking in the salsa world with Latino men are very machismo, right? Very machismo.
Yeah.
Not as much as me, but very machismo. and so that's another issue, okay?
Yeah.
That when you have that relationship. But if I ask your audience who's been in the salsa world, look back how many years you've been in look back, how many of those relationships that you admired in the beginning are still around?
Right.
You probably can't count them on one hand.
Right.
So that's telling you right there that there's not a common thread between the people. It's a temporary arrangement, okay? Because the goals are not set. You don't have to work together, okay? But if you're gonna do shows together, and really want to be good at doing those shows, you need to spend a lot of time together. And this is where emotions start to come in. Usually in the beginning, it's positive. I like you, you like me. We're doing this particular step and we're close and we're doing all, in the case of bachata, sensual, we're doing this, we're doing that. And, so things, sorry, I'm out of the picture. So things,
He likes to move a lot.
so things happen and you get involved. And the problem is that when you got involved, you didn't think of the future. You thought of right at the moment. Maybe the woman thought of the future, but certainly the guys don't. They're in for the present right then and there. Okay.
Right.
Okay. But like I say, after the honeymoon, this is when the real work begins. And, there's this old thing that people say you need to work at your relationship. I'm not so sure. If we have to work that hard on a relationship, it's going to be hard for us to keep going. We never really had to work too hard on a relationship. We had common interests. We spelled everything out in the beginning. We knew where we're headed, where our goals are, blah, 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 blah. So we never really went down that other road.
Yeah, just like you say, if you have respect for each other, you enjoy each other's company, you have common goals, all those things, it's like, okay, then we don't have too much to, like work hard work. No, this is fun. We're doing things together. We have going to the same, we have the same future that we enjoy each other.
And you share
together.
the same disappointments too.
Yeah.
We share the same disappointments. And we know how to talk about those disappointments and pick each other up and go to the next step. Not linger there, oh, poor me, or blame the world for our misgivings, right?
Right.
We always try to help each other to look in a good way. And I must say, Laura does more for me than I do for her.
Nice. Well done. Well said there. No, I actually agree. And I think the kind of like you said, like we were talking about before, just establishing the rules. And I also believe that kind of like understanding oneself, right, first. And then if both individuals kind of know who they are, then it's easy to move forward together. And nothing's really surprising because of how well kind of we know ourselves. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. So I think that, no, like you said.
Absolutely correct. When I got in a relationship with Laura, before it got too serious, because, it's harder to break up later on than it is in the beginning.
Absolutely.
Right? Emotionally. So I told Laura, I gave her my history, complete. All the things I've done, whether she thinks they're good or bad, all the bad boy things I've done, right? And if she thinks I'm not a good person, we end the relationship there. Better absolutely. There absolutely. Than later on. So I didn't hide anything from her. I spilled everything out to her, and I mean everything.
And I didn't tell him too many crazy things. So
she was more conservative. I was not. So I wanted her to know who she has a relationship with from the very start.
Right.
And I told her I'm not a bad guy. I don't steal. I don't kill. I don't,
right.
I'm not a thief or whatever. But I've done some wild things. I'm a wild guy in my youthful days, and maybe it's carried on over. I don't know. But I want her to know. And if anything like, one thing a woman will try to do is she'll accept everything about you, okay? Because we men don't tell them everything, but they'll accept everything about you. You want to know why? Even if they don't like it, in their mind, they're thinking, I can change him.
Yeah.
Okay. Women think that. That's the wrong way to think. You're not going to change him. What will happen is he'll appear to be changed, and then he'll lead a double life with somebody else, okay? Because you're not going to change those things that are about that person, okay? If those things bother you about that person, then don't get in the relationship, because changing him, he may do that for you just to keep you around, but that's what a lot of men do. And then they have another life that they live somewhere else, you know. So my advice is put it out on the table and let the chips fall where they may.
Right.
You know, you got to be strong enough. I know you don't want, a guy has a beautiful chick and all this, and she's fun to be with and all that, but he's not telling her all these bad things he did in the past. He cheated on his ex-wife, blah, 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 right? She needs to know that, because he's afraid. If I tell her that, she may think, oh my God, he'll cheat on me.
Right.
Okay. Or the woman will try to think, I can change him to a good guy. He'll never cheat on me. Right? These are all mistakes.
How much of what you're saying would kind of carry over? I mean, I have my personal beliefs, but how much does that carry over into a business relationship? How much does that carry over into a dance partnership? How much does that carry over? I mean, we're pretty much talking about romantic relationships, but how much of that does that you guys feel carries?
Well, I think everybody deserves a second chance or another opportunity. And for example, if we talk about like business partnership, let's say, I don't know, I find out my partner did something in business bad a long time ago or something.
But not with you, right?
But not with me, somebody else.
Yeah.
Let's say he tells me, this is what happened, that I changed or whatever. Now I think we could work this out. I think it's good that they tell you, so that way you know where you're getting into, and you have the decision. You can, and I think each decision will be valid to say, okay, no, I don't want to risk it, or say, okay, I'm going to give an opportunity, another opportunity, and I'm the one that thinks everybody deserves another opportunity, because people can change, but it's not that you can change that person. That person changed because they want to change. So,
correct.
So that's the difference that I would say. And you will see how the person is acting as you're working with them, and then check and look, see, and then you can see if they agree they changed or not.
So that's the case regardless of the type of relationship then, whether it's professional, whether it's dance partner or no?
Dance partner is different.
Okay.
Because with a dance partner, Andres, you really, what are you investing besides your time? Okay. With a business relationship, you're investing money. You're investing the future. You may have a mortgage. You need that business to help pay your mortgage.
Right.
So business relationship's different. In a dance relationship, okay, c'est la vie, goodbye. What am I risking? If I have an emotional attachment, I'm risking that. If we're together. But if we don't, if we're just, she's a lesbian and I'm gay. We don't have anything like that, right? So we're not worried about that relationship. We're just good friends, right?
Right.
So, by the way, we're not like that. So I want the reader to know that was an example. Okay. So, but in that particular case, okay, there's no threat. Okay. But if we're dance partners and we're traveling and we're close, then it's the relationship that we have at risk. But it may not be financial, okay? Other than we booked a show and they're supposed to pay us $1,000 and we're going to break up, right? Something like that. But it's not a long-term kind of thing. When you're married, right, the wife is going to get a portion of what you got, right? That's different. Or if you have a business, you have a contract with your business partner, da 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 da. So things can, it's like being married, the business relationship. So things, can happen monetarily. But in a dance partnership, it's just emotional stuff.
And the time, I guess, that you spend.
The time, yes,
Right.
the time that you spend.
And the way that you approach that, I guess, is ultimately my question. The way that you approach it, is it the same? Is it more sensitive? Is it more lax from one to the other? Or is that kind of like, just in your guys' experience, is that just in relationships in general, to where, it's kind of like more, how do we treat another human being, that will honor the relationship regardless of what kind it is? Or are there differences between, one or the other? Yeah, the maybe the consequences might be larger from one or the other, but if the goal is ultimately to stay together, in any aspect, is there one way that would make it work in a particular scenario versus another? If I'm making sense.
Well, it's sort of interactive, interweaved rather, with each other.
I guess that's where it gets tricky, right?
Yeah, it's not so much a financial responsibility between the two partners. Of course, when you travel, you could say, okay, you're paying for half the hotel, I'm paying for half the whatever. But it's your time that you're going to spend with this person. You could be doing something else, let's say.
Right.
The time that you're spending, and is it productive time? Or are you spending the time with this person because she's cute and I'm going to hit on her after about a month to have a sexual relationship? So keep it going no matter what, right? There's all these kind of things when you have a dance partnership, for a guy. For a girl, she's looking.
Yeah, we're different.
You're different. They're looking for more. They're more involved emotionally with the guy, okay, and look at the guy differently than the man looking at the girl. So they will hang in there longer, I believe. They'll be more loyal than the man. And they have more to lose than the man because they're investing more of themselves than the male does to the woman in that relationship, in a dance relationship. But ultimately, what are they doing? They're normally in the salsa world, each partner is working a day job somewhere. They get together at night at the local salsa school or whatever, and they practice together, da 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 da. They have that life. And if it continues, if they want a relationship together, they start going out on the weekends together, maybe start dating. And this is where the problems begin.
Right.
This is where the problems begin.
Right.
Because they didn't map this out correctly. And it's just doing it on the fly, so to speak, right?
Right.
Everything's rosy. We start out like this, and now we want to go see a movie, and pretty soon he has his hand around her, and
Right.
and da 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 da. And so it evolves without thought. Okay, that you may be jeopardizing this dance relationship. Maybe it's not that important. Maybe the dance relationship is not that important. And they say, okay,
it's going to affect as soon as you have you start a relationship, romantic relationship, and then we had just had a fight right now, and then we have to go practice tomorrow because we're supposed to have a show, and oh my God, I have to see his face now. So things start now getting like a little tricky.
No, absolutely. Now, I guess ultimately, because as we've said, an hour flies by on these talks, which is wonderful. I guess ultimately, you guys having all three interwoven, essentially, is it worth it? Would you guys say that out of everything, I mean, granted, mapped out correctly, and I think that's almost the biggest takeaway, at least for me, is just to make sure that the relationship is mapped out correctly initially with the intention and the goals established beforehand. That with all that said and done, you guys having come, this far, which is very admirable, by the way, from me to you guys. I appreciate you guys. I mean, is it worth it? I mean, you guys have been doing dance your whole life, and you're together all the time, 24/7. I think ideally, like, yeah, I guess the other word is ideally. Like, I think that's what everybody, I guess, would like to say on paper that they would like to be able to do, but it's obviously a lot more difficult than, easier said than done, if you would.
Yeah, it is here. And my advice to all you guys out there that are listening in, okay, is that find a woman that will follow all your crazy ideas that you want to do, even though she doesn't believe in most of them. Okay? Because I come up with some crazy stuff, okay, and Laura she tells me right away, oh my God, another one of your ideas, da da da. But she'll support me, okay? She'll go along, and not reluctantly. She'll go along. She'll try to do her best to help me out. But it's crazy idea. She'll tell me that you have another crazy idea. we have enough to do here. This is how I started my Salsa magazine, and now we have a nonprofit organization in Colombia. Blah 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 blah. With ideas.
Right.
I come up with a lot of ideas, and thank God she's the kind of woman that supports me, even if it's a stupid idea. Okay. And some of them are, I admit, but she'll still support me. So try to find a woman like that. Not so easy.
Right.
Okay. And if you find a woman like that, then you have a good relationship. Okay. Because she'll support you through thick and thin. Okay. And that's not every woman does that. They just don't do that.
Right.
Okay. A lot of them will say, okay, you do your thing, I'll do my thing. But she's right into the thick of things with me. So that would be a piece of advice I would give all those guys out there getting in relationships and enjoying your salsa parties when you go out. I go to a few of them. I see the same people, out there dancing, having a good time. If you want a relationship to last, you got to find the right person.
For you.
You got to be honest.
Yeah, but the right person for you, whatever that.
Right person for you, yeah.
Absolutely.
Right.
What about you, Laura? What would you say? What's the guy that you should be looking for?
I can speak for Laura.
Well,
okay?
I'm the realistic side of the partnership. He's the dreamer.
I'm the dreamer, yeah.
And I think that's why we work good together, because I try to tell, okay, how are we gonna do this? I always tell him the bad things. Why is bad? What he's telling me. This is bad because da da da. And he goes, oh, you're so negative. I say, wait, I need you to know you're thinking about just the beautiful things, but you need to also see the other side.
Big deal.
I have to convince her. I have to give an argument. Right. Okay, no doubt about it.
Then we have a discussion about it.
Right.
I have to give her the reasons why that's in my head, other than the practical aspect. She just thinks of the nuts and bolts, and that's good. I want somebody to think that way, because my head is in the clouds.
Yeah.
I just think I'm a dreamer, and that's what I do. And a lot of times I'll start something and don't realize all the pitfalls that are going to be following it.
And I have to start going, okay, if you forgot this, let's do this. Okay, oh, if you forgot this, let's go. How are we going to do this? Okay.
Right.
I guess once you decide to be with a person and you support that person, you have to, at the end, it's our business. Whatever we do together, it's going to be our business. It's going to be for our life. It's going to be for our house, for our life together. So if I don't try to make it happen, whatever idea he has, I know that, if I make it happen, then I know it's going to be for our future, for us. He'll explain me why he wants to do why, and so at the end, that's what counts, that we're together and working towards that same goal, whatever that is.
So before we sign off, I do want to ask you, have you or are you or going to be married?
I absolutely will, 100%.
Okay, but you have, right now, you're a virgin guy, so to speak, to marriage.
Yes.
Okay. So, ladies out there, this is a good catch.
Oh my God.
I've known him for I don't know how many years, a lot of years. I've known him from when he just started out. It's a good
15,
catch.
16 years?
What if we start like a app for him? The girls sign up and
I don't
Laura, another one of your crazy ideas?
I don't know if that's going to make us any money. But he's a good catch, ladies. Get a hold of him. He
Oh
can
my
dance.
gosh.
He's a businessman, and I can tell you he's a good person. Okay? So if I were you ladies, put in your
resume application.
Resume application. That's all.
That just happened. Wow. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you. Oh yeah, thank you guys so much. Definitely a lot of knowledge there. I at the very minimum for me, no doubt about it. Like I said, I look up to you guys in a lot of ways. Thank you. Thank you for continuing to do what you're doing, not just professionally, but personally, because people like myself, we're watching. So thank you.
Not only that, remember, advice is cheap. Okay. .com. I have that. I haven't used it, but I have that domain. Advicescheap.com.
Nice.
That was one of my other crazy ideas, you know.
Nice.
Because we knew a lot of dancers that needed good advice. But I want to thank you. Between Laura and I want to thank you for putting us on. We've had a good time. I hope we made a difference in somebody. It may at least made somebody think about their relationship in dancing and in their business and so on and so forth. And all I can say, I never quit dancing because dancing has so many benefits, so many health benefits, mental health benefits, that that's why I never retired. Okay. Otherwise, if I retired from doing it, I would become a student of dance. I would be on the other side of the fence. I would never leave dancing. I made it my career for a reason. It was because of all the benefits it gives myself, as well as the benefits I can give others.
Amen.
So keep dancing.
Yes, I love it.
Keep dancing.
I love it. That's a beautiful close. I love it. Thank you guys. Thank you guys again. Once again, guys. Oh, where can people reach out to you?
Well, advicescheap.com. No.
Is there an email specifically or a website?
You can go email. You can go email to ialtman@msn.com.
Okay.
ialtman and imsn.com. You can go to our Instagram. We have Laura Altman, mine 305, and we have our dance studio, International Dance Studio. And we have so many things. We have all sorts of federations.
Go to Laura Ballroom Dancer at gmail.com.
If you want to write me an email, ask me something,
right.
Laura Ballroom Dancer.
Only females, okay, will write you.
Laura Ballroom Dancer at Gmail?
Yeah.
Laura Ballroom Dancer at gmail.com, yeah.
Okay, let me see if I can throw that up on the screen.
Yeah. Oop. The only ones that write me are the ones at nursing homes at ialtman@msn.com.
Got it. Perfect.
But all kidding aside, we love everybody out there that's dancing, whether you're a beginner or advanced amateur or pro, it doesn't matter.
Or 5 years old or 80 years old.
5 or 80. We applaud you. You're doing the right thing for your soul. And please keep it up.
Amen. Thank you guys again, for sure.
Okay.
Love you guys. Signing out.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.